20 amazing perennials that bloom all season long. Most flowers give you 2 weeks of beauty, then nothing but green leaves until next year. But some special plants keep blooming for months and months. I'm Ishityab from Seniors Gardening Advice, and I'm about to show you 20 amazing perennials that bloom for 4, 5, even 6 months straight. One plant on my list blooms for 5 full months, costs almost nothing, and most people don't even know it exists. Another one actually blooms from spring until December. Yes, December. If you want a garden that stays colorful from spring until winter with less work, hit that subscribe button right now and let's get started. Welcome to Seniors Gardening Advice. I'm Ishityab, and I help gardeners like you create stunning gardens without breaking your back or your budget. I've been gardening for over 20 years, and I've learned that the secret to a beautiful garden isn't working harder, it's working smarter. Smash that like button if you're tired of replanting flowers every few weeks. And make sure to subscribe because we're covering easy gardening tips every single week that will save you time, money, and energy. Here's the thing about most flowers. They look great for a short time, then you're stuck with plain green plants taking up space. I used to spend hundreds of dollars every spring buying annual flowers only to watch them die after a few weeks. It was exhausting and expensive. But the 20 perennials I'm sharing today are different. These are the absolute champions of the flower world. They keep producing beautiful blooms for months without you having to do much work at all. Some of these plants will give you more color in one season than most gardeners get all year. I've arranged these from good to absolutely incredible, so stick around because the top 5 will completely change how you think about gardening. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss our latest gardening secrets. Why long-blooming perennials are perfect for senior gardeners. Before we jump into our countdown, let me explain why these long-blooming perennials are absolutely perfect for gardeners who want maximum beauty with minimum effort. First, they save you money. Instead of buying new plants every year, you plant these once and they keep coming back stronger each season. Some of the plants on my list will bloom beautifully for 10, 20, even 30 years. Second, they saved your back and knees. No more digging up dead plants and replanting every few months. These perennials do all the work while you sit back and enjoy the show. And third, they're drought-tolerant. Most of these plants actually prefer being left alone once they're established, perfect for busy gardeners or those who travel during the summer. And finally, they attract beneficial wildlife like butterflies, bees, and hummingbirds, making your garden a living, breathing ecosystem that supports nature. If you're loving these benefits already, give this video a thumbs up and share it with your gardening friends.
Number 20. Shasta Daisy, the reliable beauty. 5 months. Let me start with a flower that's been making gardens beautiful for generations, the Shasta Daisy. These classic white flowers with sunny yellow centers bloom from May all the way through September. That's 5 solid months of cheerful, reliable color that never goes out of style. Here's what makes Shasta Daisies absolutely perfect for smart gardeners. They're nearly impossible to kill. I've seen these beauties survive drought, neglect, and even occasional flooding. Once you plant them, they spread naturally through underground runners and fill in empty spots on their own. They were great in zones 5 through 9, which covers most of America from the northern states down to Georgia. The flowers grow on sturdy stems that reach 1 to 3 feet tall, depending on the variety. Becky is one of my favorites because it's particularly heat tolerant and has strong stems that don't flop over. Alaska is another excellent choice that stays more compact. The flowers are absolutely fantastic for cutting, too. Each bloom can be 2 to 4 inches across, and when you put them in a vase, they'll stay fresh for over a week. I love mixing them with other garden flowers for simple, elegant bouquets that brighten up any room. You can plant Shasta Daisies in spring or fall, and they're not picky about location. They'll bloom beautifully in full sun or partial shade, though they do prefer well-drained soil. In really hot climates, they actually appreciate some afternoon shade. Here's my pro tip from over 20 years of gardening. Cut your Shasta Daisies back by half after the first round of flowers finishes in midsummer. This little trick, called deadheading, gives you a second wave of blooms that carries you right into fall. They also drop seeds that grow into new plants naturally, so you get more daisies for absolutely free. One thing I love about these plants is how they multiply. After a few years, you can divide the clumps in early spring or fall and create new plants to spread around your garden or share with neighbors. Comment below if you've grown Shasta daisies before. I'd love to hear about your experience and which varieties work best in your area.
19. Purple coneflower, the wildlife magnet, 5 months. Next up is purple coneflower, also called echinacea, and this plant is absolutely magical for wildlife lovers. These stunning purple flowers with their distinctive spiky orange centers bloom from June through October. That's another solid 5-month performer that just keeps giving and giving. What makes purple coneflowers incredibly special for busy gardeners? You actually don't need to cut off the dead flowers. I know this sounds crazy because we're always told to deadhead everything, but trust me on this one. It's actually better if you leave the spent blooms alone because birds, especially goldfinches, love eating the seeds all winter long. You'll see them clinging to the seed heads, having a feast right in your garden. These Native American plants are absolutely perfect for gardeners who love the planet and forget it approach. They handle drought like absolute champions once they get settled in your garden, usually after their first year. The flowers start out as beautiful dome-shaped centers. Then, as they mature, the purple petals gracefully drop down around the spiky orange center. It's quite a beautiful transformation to watch throughout the blooming season. The plant typically grows 2 to 4 feet tall and about 18 inches wide. Magnus is a fantastic variety with extra large flowers that can be 5 inches across. White Swan gives you the same great performance in white if you prefer that color palette. Kim's Knee-High is perfect for smaller gardens or front borders, since it only grows about 2 feet tall. Here's an interesting bonus that many gardeners don't know about. Purple coneflower has been used for centuries as a natural immune booster. Many people harvest the roots and leaves to make echinacea supplements, though I always recommend consulting with healthcare professionals first. These plants work wonderfully in wildflower gardens, prairie plantings, or mixed perennial borders. They get better with age and can live for decades with almost no care from you. I have some in my garden that are over 15 years old and still going strong. The flowers are also excellent for attracting beneficial insects. You'll see bees, butterflies, and other pollinators visiting them constantly during the blooming season. And speaking of butterflies, if you want to create a butterfly garden, purple coneflower is absolutely essential. If you're loving these wildlife-friendly tips, give this video a thumbs up and share it with your gardening friends who care about supporting local ecosystems.
Number 18. Blanket flower, the heat champion, 5 months. Blanket flower, or gaillardia as it's scientifically known, is like having a permanent sunset in your garden. These incredible flowers bring warm sunset colors, vibrant reds, bright oranges, and sunny yellows to your garden from June until the first hard frost. In many areas, that can be 5 full months of non-stop, eye-catching color. These flowers are absolutely perfect for those challenging spots in your garden where other plants just give up and die. You know those areas? Maybe it's that hot, sunny slope where nothing seems to grow, or that spot by the driveway where the soil is poor and dry. Blanket flowers actually love these tough conditions and will thrive where other flowers struggle. Here's something that will amaze you. They actually bloom better in poor soil. Most gardeners think they need to fertilize everything, but blanket flowers prefer lean, well-drained soil. Rich, fertile soil actually makes them produce more leaves and fewer flowers, so you can skip the fertilizer completely and they'll reward you with more blooms. The flowers themselves are absolutely stunning. Each bloom is typically 2 to 4 inches across, with a daisy-like form and distinctive dark red or brown centers. Many varieties show multiple colors on each individual flower. You might see red petals tipped with yellow or orange flowers with red centers. Arizona Sun is one of my favorite varieties because it has beautiful red flowers with bright yellow edges. These plants are native to North America, which means they're perfectly adapted to our climate conditions. They thrive in prairie-like conditions and can handle both heat and cold beautifully. They're also naturally resistant to deer and rabbits, which is always a huge bonus for gardeners dealing with wildlife pressure. One of the most delightful things about blanket flowers is their habit of self-seeding. They'll often plant themselves around your garden, popping up in new spots year after year. It's like getting surprise gifts from your garden. I've found them growing in gravel paths, between stepping stones, and in the most unexpected places. The flowers are also fantastic for cutting. They last well in bouquets and add that warm, cheerful color to indoor arrangements. Plus, they attract butterflies and beneficial insects all season long, making your garden a hub of activity and life. Make sure you're subscribed to Seniors Gardening Advice for more tips on low-maintenance, high-impact plants like this one.
Number 17. Catmint, the fragrant favorite. 6 months. Catmint is absolutely one of my favorite plants for senior gardeners, and when you hear what it can do, you'll understand why. This amazing perennial produces beautiful clouds of blue-purple flower spikes from late spring all the way through fall. That's a full 6 months of continuous blooms and fragrance. The maintenance on this plant is incredibly easy, which is why I recommend it to every gardener I meet. All you need to do is cut it back once in midsummer, usually around July, and you'll get a completely fresh flush of flowers that carries you right through fall. It's like getting 2 gardens in one. The silvery green foliage is beautiful even when the plant isn't blooming, and the leaves have this wonderful minty fragrance that gets released every time you brush against them or the wind moves through the garden. This aromatic quality naturally keeps many garden pests away, making it a great companion plant for other flowers and vegetables. You can find catmint varieties in many different sizes now, from tiny 8-inch compact plants perfect for containers or border edges to large 3-foot specimens that make stunning focal points. Walker's Low is one of the most popular varieties. Despite its name, it actually grows about 2 feet tall and 3 feet wide, creating a beautiful mounded shape covered in lavender blue flowers. Bees and butterflies absolutely love catmint flowers, and you'll see constant activity around these plants during the blooming season. The flowers produce nectar throughout the day, making them a reliable food source for beneficial insects. Here's a bonus tip that many gardeners don't know. You can dry the leaves to make a wonderfully relaxing herbal tea. Just harvest young, healthy leaves, dry them in a well-ventilated area, and store them in airtight containers. The tea has a mild, pleasant flavor and is naturally caffeine-free. Plant catmint along walkways, near patios, or anywhere you'll brush against it regularly. Every time you walk by, you'll release that lovely fragrance, creating a sensory experience that makes your garden even more enjoyable. I have catmint planted along the path to my front door, and it greets me with its wonderful scent every time I come home. The plant is also incredibly drought-tolerant once established, usually after the first growing season. It actually prefers well-drained soil and can handle both full sun and partial shade, though it blooms most prolifically in full sun.
16. Balloon flower, the kid's favorite. 3 months. Balloon flowers are truly unique. The buds look like little inflated balloons before they pop open into star-shaped flowers in blue, white, or pink. They bloom from July through September. These perennials get better with age and never need dividing. Just remember to mark where you plant them because they come up late in spring and you might forget where they are. Kids absolutely love watching the buds open. You can even gently squeeze them to make them pop. The neat clumps work well in any garden style, and the flowers last over a week when cut for bouquets. Make sure to subscribe to Seniors Gardening Advice if you're enjoying these flower ideas.
Number 15. Hardy geraniums, the shade solution, 6 months. Don't confuse these with regular geraniums. Hardy geraniums are tough perennials that offer months of delicate flowers from May through October in pink, purple, blue, and white. They're perfect for shady areas where other flowers struggle. Plant different varieties that bloom at different times, and you'll have 6 months of continuous color. The leaves often turn beautiful fall colors too, red, orange, or yellow before winter. These plants make excellent ground covers and help prevent weeds. They're drought-tolerant once established, and deer don't bother them. Some varieties, like Roseanne, can bloom for an incredible 8 months in the right conditions. Number 14. Russian Sage, the architectural beauty, 4 months. Russian sage offers months of airy purple-blue flowers above beautiful silvery leaves from July through October. It's perfect for hot, dry spots and adds great structure to your garden. Even after the flowers fade, those silvery stems look gorgeous through winter. The plant can grow quite large, up to 4 feet tall and wide in good conditions. The leaves smell nice when crushed, and deer hate it. This plant is actually in the mint family, though you'd never guess it by looking at it. The tiny flowers create a cloud-like effect that bees and butterflies adore. Cut it back hard in late winter, and it comes back strong in spring.
Number 13. Tickseed, the neglect-loving wonder, 5+ months. Tickseed, also called coreopsis, produces cheerful yellow flowers from June through frost. That's 5+ months of bright color. These flowers are true workhorses that practically thrive on neglect. The threadleaf varieties are especially long-blooming and form neat mounds covered with hundreds of small flowers. They bloom continuously without any deadheading needed. Native to North America, they're perfect for wildflower gardens. The flowers attract butterflies and beneficial insects, while goldfinches love the seeds. In mild areas, some varieties bloom almost year-round. If this video is helping you plan your garden, hit that like button and let me know in the comments.
12. Autumn Joy Sedum, the season extender, 4 months. Autumn Joy Sedum starts with pale pink flowers in August that gradually deepen to rust red as fall approaches. This gives you 4 months of changing color through November. The thick, fleshy leaves store water, making this plant perfect for dry gardens. The flower heads start flat and broad, then slowly dome upward as they mature. Bees love the flowers when they first open. After the flowers fade, the seed heads stay attractive through winter. You can leave them for the birds or cut them for dried arrangements. These plants are virtually maintenance-free and can live for decades.
Number 11. Daylily, the reliable repeater, 4+ months. While individual daylily flowers last just 1 day, these plants keep producing buds continuously from June through September. With repeat blooming varieties like Stella de Oro, you get flowers from early summer through fall. The flowers come in almost every color except true blue and pure white, with many bicolors and patterns available. Each flower stalk can have 12 to 15 buds, giving you weeks of bloom from each stem. These incredibly tough plants handle both drought and flooding. The newer repeat blooming varieties send up flower stalks repeatedly throughout the season. Most varieties are fragrant, especially in the evening.
10. Bee Balm, the wildlife magnet. Bee Balm blooms from July through September and absolutely magnetizes hummingbirds and butterflies. The tubular flowers come in red, pink, purple, and white, and the leaves smell wonderful when you brush against them. The flowers are arranged in distinctive whorled clusters at the top of square stems, a sure sign this is in the mint family. You can dry the leaves to make minty herbal tea that's sometimes called Oswego tea. Native Americans used bee balm for medicinal purposes for centuries. The plant spreads by underground runners, so it can form large colonies over time. Choose mildew-resistant varieties for the best performance. Remember to subscribe to Seniors Gardening Advice for more wildlife gardening tips. Number 9. Salvia, the bloom machine, 6 months. Hardy salvias produce flower spikes continuously from May through October. That's 6 months of color. They're drought-tolerant and come in many colors and sizes. Choose perennial varieties like Maynite or Victoria Blue for reliable performance year after year. The tubular flowers are perfectly designed for hummingbirds, though bees and butterflies love them too. The plants form neat clumps with aromatic foliage that deer and rabbits avoid. Many varieties have colorful bracts that extend the show even after the flowers fade. Some varieties, like autumn sage, can bloom almost year-round in warm climates.
Number 8. Coral bells, the foliage star for 4 months plus. Coral bells produce delicate flower spikes from May through August, but the real bonus is those colorful leaves that provide interest even when the plant isn't blooming. They're perfect for adding color to partially shaded areas. The leaves come in an incredible range of colors: purple, burgundy, lime green, silver, orange, and many combinations. The small bell-shaped flowers are held on thin stems well above the foliage. Hummingbirds are attracted to the flowers, and the plants work beautifully as edging or ground cover. They're evergreen in most climates, providing year-round interest.
Number 7. Penstemon, the hummingbird heaven, 5 months. Penstemon produces tubular flowers from June through October that hummingbirds absolutely love. They're drought-tolerant and available in red, pink, purple, and white. The flowers are arranged in tall spikes that rise above lance-shaped leaves. Each flower has an interesting beard that gives the plant its common name, beard tongue. They're particularly valuable because they bloom during the hottest part of summer. Native varieties are especially long-lived and low-maintenance. The plants form neat clumps and work well in perennial borders or naturalistic plantings.
Number 6. Astilbe, the shade champion. Astilbe produces beautiful feathery plumes of flowers from May through August in pink, red, white, and purple. They're one of the best long-blooming options for partial to full shade areas. Their ferny foliage is attractive all season long and provides a beautiful backdrop for the flowers. They prefer consistently moist soil and will reward you with months of blooms if you keep them happy. The flower plumes have a soft, cloud-like texture that adds a romantic feel to shade gardens. They work beautifully with hostas, ferns, and other shade perennials. Share this video with friends who have shady gardens. They'll thank you for it.
Number 5. Garden Phlox, the evening fragrance. Number 5. Garden Phlox, the evening fragrance. Garden Phlox blooms from July through September with incredibly fragrant flowers in many colors. Choose mildew-resistant varieties for the best performance and longest bloom time. The sweet scent is strongest in the evening, making them perfect near patios and seating areas. The dome-shaped flower clusters can be 6 inches across and are made up of hundreds of small 5-petaled flowers. They're excellent cut flowers that will perfume your entire house when brought indoors. The plants can reach 4 feet tall and form substantial clumps over time.
Number 4. Verbena, the ground cover star, 7 months. Hardy verbenas produce clusters of small flowers continuously from May through November. That's 7 months of color. They're drought-tolerant and deer-resistant. Homestead Purple is one variety that can literally bloom for 7 months straight. The flowers are small, but produced in such abundance that they create a solid carpet of color. They're excellent for cascading over walls or filling in between stepping stones. The plant spread by trailing stems that root where they touch the ground, making them perfect ground covers.
Number 3. Lantana, the heat survivor, 7+ months. In warm climates, Lantana blooms almost year-round. Even in cooler areas, it flowers from spring through the first frost, 7+ months of color. It's incredibly heat and drought-tolerant. The flower clusters are made up of tiny individual flowers that often change color as they age, creating a multicolored effect. They come in yellow, orange, red, pink, purple, white, and many combinations. The flowers attract butterflies, while the berries feed birds. They're completely deer-resistant and rarely bothered by any pests. In zones 8 and warmer, they're true perennials that can become quite large over time.
Number 2. Ultra-long blooming catmint, 8 months. This is another catmint variety, but these ultra-long blooming types can flower from April through November in mild climates. Some gardeners report 8 months of continuous blooms with proper care. Varieties like Walker's Low and Six Hills Giant are particularly long-blooming. The plants form dense mounds of aromatic gray-green foliage topped with spikes of blue, purple, or white flowers. They're incredibly drought-tolerant once established, and deer completely avoid them. The key is choosing the right variety and giving it a mid-season trim. Before I reveal number 1, make sure you're subscribed to Seniors Gardening Advice and hit that bell icon for notifications.
Number 1, Mexican Mint Marigold, the fall champion, 5 months. Our number 1 longest blooming perennial is Mexican Mint Marigold. This incredible plant blooms from August through December, 5 months of golden yellow flowers that smell like anise when you crush the leaves. When other flowers are fading in late fall, this one is just getting started. It's drought-tolerant, deer-resistant, and the flowers are even edible. In mild climates, it can bloom well into winter. The plant is also known as Mexican tarragon and can be used as a substitute for French tarragon in cooking. The flowers attract late-season butterflies when most other food sources are gone. The plant can reach 3 feet tall and wide, forming a substantial bush covered in bright yellow blooms. It's incredibly heat-tolerant and actually seems to bloom better as temperatures cool in fall.
5 essential tips for maximum bloom time. After decades of gardening, I've discovered 5 essential tips that can double or even triple the bloom time of perennials, ensuring color and beauty throughout the growing season. The first is a smart deadheading strategy, which goes beyond simply cutting off dead flowers. For perennials such as Salvia, Catmint, and Phlox, regular deadheading redirects energy from seed production back into continuous blooming. However, not all plants should be deadheaded. Purple coneflowers, black-eyed Susans, and ornamental grasses are better left alone because their seeds provide vital food for birds in winter. Keeping a garden journal to track which plants need deadheading and which should be left natural helps maintain balance. The second is strategic light fertilizing. Heavy feeding often backfires, producing lush foliage but fewer flowers. Instead, apply a light dose of balanced, slow-release fertilizer such as 10-10-10 at half strength in early spring. Avoid fertilizing plants like blanket flower and Russian sage, which thrive in poorer soils. The third technique is deep, smart watering. Shallow, frequent watering weakens root systems, while deep, infrequent watering encourages perennials to establish strong roots that access water during dry periods. Once established, many perennials are drought-tolerant, and watering deeply in the early morning helps reduce evaporation and fungal issues. The fourth tip is succession planting, a method of overlapping bloom times by choosing early, mid-season, and late varieties of the same flower type. For example, with daylilies, early varieties bloom in June, mid-season in July and August, and late ones extend color into September. This strategy also works with asters, salvias, and other perennials, creating a relay of continuous blossoms. The fifth is zone awareness and microclimate understanding. Choosing plants suited not just to your USDA zone, but to the unique conditions of your garden ensures stronger performance and longer bloom time. A plant barely hardy in your zone may struggle, while one perfectly adapted will thrive with ease. Microclimates, such as a sunny south-facing wall or a shaded area under a large oak, create distinct growing environments within the same garden. Using these to your advantage maximizes bloom potential. Planning your long-blooming garden. Before rushing to buy plants, take time to plan. Start by mapping your garden's sun exposure, since most perennials need at least 6 hours of sunlight. Layer your plantings by height. Tall plants like Russian sage at the back, mid-height choices like purple coneflower in the middle, and low growers such as Verbena up front. Plan for succession by mixing early, mid-season, and late bloomers, ensuring flowers from spring through fall. Hardy geraniums shine in early spring. Coreopsis and Salvia carry the summer season, while asters and Mexican Mint Marigold brighten the garden in late fall. Wrap up and final thoughts. In total, there are more than 20 incredible perennials that extend your garden's bloom time, and the key lies in choosing varieties suited to your climate and letting them thrive with minimal interference. Once established, many perennials actually prefer being left alone, rewarding you with years of beauty that improves over time. Gardening doesn't have to be exhausting.
By planting wisely, you create self-sustaining displays that only need light care. These reliable perennials become trusted companions, bringing daily beauty season after season. Until next time, this is Isha from Seniors Gardening Advice, encouraging you to keep those green thumbs growing and always choose plants that bring both joy and lasting blooms.